Alright, so week 16 games. Let's look at the best ones first, of course. Eagles and Commanders would probably be the best one of the week. It was a close division game, and it was pretty cool to see the Commanders beat the Eagles on it and stop their win streak, but it was definitely the best game of the week. Cardinals-Panthers was a close one, though, went into overtime. Broncos-Chargers, Thursday night, we had a good one, at least this time. And Vikings-Seahawks was a good close game. After that, Cowboys-Buccaneers was pretty entertaining. Even with the Cowboys having nothing to play for, they came to win. Patriots and Bills was pretty exciting. I don't think anyone really expected that, but the Patriots seemed like they really wanted to beat their division rivals. It came real close down to the wire. Jaguars and Raiders was relatively fun to watch. It was a nice tank bowl to see who ends up with the number one seed. And then and it was cool to see the Raiders finally get another win. And Titans and Colts wasn't too bad either. The Titans actually came to play despite not having anything to play for either. The worst games, we got Steelers-Ravens, not quite as good as I think a lot of us were hoping for. It was a little one-sided. The Rams and Jets, it was just really low. It was close, but it was really low scoring. Only one touchdown, not very fun to watch. Texans-Chiefs, it was close for about 3 quarters, but then Tank Dell got injured. The Texans just couldn't do anything, and kind of disappointing to see the Chiefs win again. The Niners and Dolphins, it was a little sad that the Niners had nothing to play for since the Rams won earlier, but it was still fun to watch, and the Dolphins just kind of ended up blowing them out in the fourth quarter. The worst games, though, were definitely Giants-Falcons. The first quarter looked like the Giants might actually get the win against Michael Penix's debut, but the 3 quarters that followed were very one-sided. The Browns and Bengals, division rival game that did not live up. The Browns did not play better than they have been, and the Bengals look like they want to at least attempt to make the playoffs. The most one-sided, though, were the Lions and Bears. Very one-sided game. And Saints-Packers, our first blowout of the season. Hopefully the only one we get. So looking at the power rankings, I'm going to keep the Packers at number 1, given that they had the most dominant win this week. Might as well keep them at the top. But I'm going to bump the Ravens up to number 2 and the Lions up to number 3. I think that they are looking like they're going to make a good late season push. I feel bad that I doubted the Lions defense. It looks like they might actually be alright. Number 4, I got the Bills. I'm still high on them, but the fact that they almost lost to the Patriots makes me a little worried. At 5, I got the Vikings, keeping them in the top 5. I think the Lions are still better, and I'd even say the Packers are better, but the North is just very good this year. It'd be cool to see all 3 teams see how many North teams we can see in the AFC and NFC. Maybe we can get, if the Bengals sneak in, we could see 6 teams make it in like the top 8. That would be something. Maybe all 4 final teams will be from the North as well in the AFC and NFC. But anyways, I got the Falcons at number 6. I think Michael Penix's debut looked real solid. They were playing the Giants, so you have to keep that in mind. But if they play like they did against the Giants, against stronger opponents, then they could end up being a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs if they can beat the Buccaneers. And 7, I have the Buccaneers. I think they'll still win the division. I don't think that the Falcons can commit like that every week in these last couple games, but I think the Bucs, the way they looked against the Cowboys and the way the Falcons looked against the Giants, I think the Falcons are looking better right now. Again, I got the Broncos dropping to 8. Bit of a bad game against the Chargers. And I got the Bengals at 9. These 2 teams are about to play each other, so we'll see who stays in the top 10 and who leaves. At number 10, I'm going to put the Commanders in here. I kept them out of the top 10 last week, but they got a nice win against the Eagles. They definitely deserve to be top 10 now. At 11, sorry Cowboys, I know you got a good win, but just by default, I feel like I got to leave you out of the top 10, given that you're not going to make the playoffs. But it looks like they could win out the season, so I think I got to leave them this high. At 12, I have the Chiefs. I'm just not crazy about them. I just feel like they're on the verge of top 10, but not quite there. I will say they got their best win this week against an actual division a team they might play in the postseason, but it's still just, they're still not quite. They got lucky again that Tank Dell got injured. At 13, I got the Dolphins. They seem to flip-flop. Every time I'm low on them, they do really good, and when I'm high on them, they do bad. So it looks like they're still trying to make a late postseason run, even if the chances of it happening are low. 14, I have the Rams, kind of in the same boat. It looks like they're going to win the division, but I don't think they kind of just are going to win the division by default, with the Seahawks and the Cardinals falling short, but they're average. 15, I got the Eagles. Got to drop them a bit after losing to the Commanders. We'll see how they rebound, or if they're going to do like they did last year and win or lose the last 3 games, lose out. They lost like 5 in a row last year. They might lose 3 in a row this time. 16, I got the Colts. They're just kind of meh, right in the middle. They might make the postseason. I thought they would, but now it looks like they're going to be just shy of it happening. 17, I have the Chargers, because I'm really unsure, because they just got a huge win against the Broncos, but they also were coming off a huge loss to the Buccaneers. So I'm not sure if I should put the Chargers high or low. I just don't trust them at this time, so I'm going to keep them right in the middle, and we'll see where they go at the end of the season. At number 18, we got the Seahawks, a very solid team, but it looks like the Rams are going to knock us out of the playoffs, unfortunately, and we're going to be just shy of a postseason run. Just saying, shame, it's our best season in the last 3 years, and yet it's going to be the year that the NFC is the strongest, and we're going to miss out by default. If only we were in the AFC this year. 19, I got the Texans, kind of the same as the Rams. They're going to win the division by default, but I'm just not high on them, especially with losing Dell, and they already lost Diggs. So we'll see how that offense does with all these injuries, but I'm a little worried about them in the postseason. At 20, I have the Titans. I think that their offense is looking pretty good. It's interesting that they used to be this run-heavy, good defense game, but now without Derrick Henry and with an offensive coordinator as a head coach, it seems like they're going to be a nice offensive force to be reckoned with. If they stop throwing interceptions, they'll be a bigger threat next year, but for now, I'll keep them at 20. 21, we got the Cardinals. Like the Dolphins, they flip-flop. Every time I'm high on them, they look like this and lose to the Panthers. So 22, I have the Panthers. No, let's flip those, because the Panthers beat them. 21 Panthers, 22 Cardinals. Good win by Carolina, especially when I thought they were done. I thought that they had rescinded. They looked like they weren't going to win out again, but they rebounded after all, and looks like they might even win the last couple games. 23, I got the Raiders. Same boat as the Panthers. They got a good win. It hurts their tank, but it's good to get a win. And 24, we got the 49ers. They've been dropping steadily every week. 25, I got the Jets. They're another team that flip-flops massively. One week I have them in the top 10, and then the next they're in the bottom 10. But I don't know what to make of this inconsistency, but they're coming off a bad loss, put up, 9 points, so 25 it is. 26, I got the Jaguars. They're just kind of sticking around here. I think they'd be better if they had Trevor Lawrence, but with Mac Jones, this is about the best they can do. 27, I got the Steelers. Got to drop you guys a bit. You've lost 2 bad games in a row now, and I have a feeling you're going to lose the next 2 as well. 28, I have the Patriots. Just kind of down here near the bottom. I still like Drake May, and they put up a good fight against the Bills. That's why they're not lower, but sadly that defense isn't great, and that's always what New England was known for. But anyways, we'll see what they can do in the last 2 games of the season. They could just end up getting a good tank, good spot to get a high draft pick, though, and that wouldn't be too bad. 29, we got the Browns. They've kind of been hanging around down here, not doing anything. Sorry, Browns fans. DTR couldn't do anything or pull off any magic, sadly. 30, I have the Saints. That was a terrible performance. First shutout of the season, probably the only one. I'm really low on the Saints for next year, too. I don't know what... this just shows that without Dennis Allen, Derek Carr, and Alvin Kamara, there's nothing on this team. 31, I got the Bears, and 32, I got the Giants. I'm going to flip you guys just because the Giants officially have the worst seeding at the moment. They look like the worst team on paper and by the record. And the Bears, even though you lost, you did play the Lions, so I didn't expect much. Let's just finish with the games for this week. Christmas game, I'm going to pick Pittsburgh to beat KC. I think Andy Reid looks a lot like Santa Claus, and he's just going to come into Pittsburgh and give the Steelers fans a big W for Christmas. After that, I think Baltimore will beat the Texans again. Perhaps it'll kind of be like with the Bills and Chiefs, how they always beat them. Maybe Baltimore will be like the Chiefs for the Bills for Houston. That wasn't worded well, but you know what I mean. Seahawks and Chicago. I'm going to pick Chicago. Let's just lose to all the North teams at this point. Chargers in New England. I'll pick the Chargers, but I'm not high on it because I'm scared to trust the Chargers. Denver, Cincinnati. I'll pick Cincinnati on this one. I think that if they can, this is a huge game for them. If they can beat Denver, their chances of making the playoffs are huge. So I think that drive is going to push them over the finish line, and rookie Bo Nix is going to have kind of struggle knowing when it's make or break time. Rams and Raiders. I'll pick the Raiders. Let's say this win streak keeps going. AOC looks like he wants to prove himself the quarterback for next year, and if he can win out the season, I think they might really want to consider giving him that job. Indiana and Giants. Wait. Oh, Raiders play Saints. Well, yeah, they're definitely going to win that game. So who else do the Rams play? They play the Cardinals. Yeah, that game would be better if the Cardinals were still in it, but sadly they lost to Carolina, so now I think the Rams are just going to win it easily, and the Cardinals aren't going to care. Giants in Indiana, an easy win for Indiana. Buffalo versus the Jets, easy win for Buffalo. Tennessee and Jaguars. I'm going to pick Tennessee on this one because I think they want revenge for losing to them a couple weeks ago, and they'll go 1-for-1 for the season. Like I said earlier, the Tennessee offense is pretty good, and the Jaguars defense has been kind of bad this year. If Trevor Lawrence was playing, I think they might win, but with Mac Jones, I think it's going to be Tennessee. What else we got? Panthers and Bucks. I'm going to pick the Buccaneers, easy win. Sorry, Panthers, I know you're coming off a good win, but Buccaneers need to win this to win the division. It won't be easy, actually. I think it'll be a close one. The Panthers could really put a wedge in the Bucks' playoff hopes, if the Falcons win, especially. Speaking of that game, I'll just jump to that one. I think Atlanta will beat Washington to keep their playoff hopes alive. I think it would be cool for Michael Penix to come in and be like, why are y'all saying Jaden Daniels is Rookie of the Year? I can beat him. Cowboys and Eagles, I'll pick the Cowboys. I think they'll go 1-for-1 with them. I think they're looking to make a nice stretch at the end of the year, and the Eagles I don't think are going to be able to rebound after losing to the Commanders. What do we got? We got Dolphins-Browns. I think it'll be an easy win for the Dolphins. They got to win out, but I don't think other teams will lose, so I don't think they'll make the postseason, but they'll probably win out for the season. Packers-Minnesota, I'm actually going to pick... No, I got to pick the Packers. I put them at number 1 on my rankings. I got to put them at a win here. Sorry, Minnesota. Although it would be cool if Detroit and Minnesota were playing for the number 1 NFC seed next week, but I think the Packers are better. They'll get the win. And then Lions and 49ers, easy win for the Lions. The Niners are falling apart, and the Lions really want that revenge. Even if the Niners aren't what they were last year, it'll still feel real good to get the win on them. So, see how these games go when we're this close to the end.